be the last lecture of the semester, and we're going to cover some of the questions on the final exam, and I'm also going to show you a little bit more about Streamlit and some other open source projects that you might be interested in. Any questions before we get started? By the way, so I set up the assignment for the extra credit for the TM voice evaluation. So you're welcome to submit by, I think, next Monday or Tuesday, I forgot. So if you want to take advantage of the extra credit, please do it by early next week. And so the final exam is next Thursday, I believe. Let me double check again. May 11th. So yeah, it's next Thursday, 3:30 to 6 p.m. You'll be here, and open book. Some of the questions that I'll be asking, I think overall maybe 4 or 5 questions. So the questions are related to, for example, how to open a CSV, how to extract information from a CSV. For example, if you have a CSV have 2 columns like latitude, longitude, how do you extract that? How do you create some points from the CSV? How do you plot the data on the map? Make sense? Those are basic GIS. Right? If you're using GIS software, ArcGIS, you should be able to just open and then just do that. But now I want you to do that programming using program using Python. How do you, for example, you go out, you collect the data, you have a CSV, you have latitude, longitude. How do you actually get the coordinates out and then put on a CSV? I already give the question, okay? Just think about that. And it's open book. You're welcome to do whatever you want, but it needs to be integrated into your package. So the function need to be basically built on top of your package. You have this function, allow users to use that, and also plot the map. For example, how do you plot like a point on the map? How do you plot markers? So you need to basically use IPy leaflet or use Folium, whichever you find comfortable. So for example, how do I create something like this? So you have all the points, and how do I use those points to create something like this? So here I can zoom out, right? Something like this. So take some time to think about it. How do you implement? And how do you add something to the map? Yes?
So you don't have to answer this. As far as like logistically code being published for like to submit something to the file, you're gonna need to like make new package like last time, or
No, it's just on your current package. You don't need a new one. You can use the one you create for your midterm, that's fine. But I just need to see that from, it's okay to integrate that one into your final project, like build on top of your final project. It's up to you, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. You don't need to create a brand new one. It's going to take you some time. Integrate to whatever your existing package, but I just need to see the code. I need to see the notebook, how you demonstrate that. And how do you add a toolbar, for example, to your map. And then so users just click, and then they can paste a CSV, they can enter a CSV or something, or 5 paths, HTTP URL, for example. And how do I actually plot it on the map without coding? Yes?
so can we use code from previous?
Yeah, that's fine. As I said, whatever you want to do, but just make it functional, and then have a notebook to demonstrate. Pretty much, that's it. Any other questions? So basically, some applies the things that you have learned in practice. And how do you read the data? How do you open the data? How do you plot the data on the map? And that's pretty simple GIS operations. It's nothing fancy, but it's more like built on top of the package. And they have the map component. You can display the data, something like that. And you need to have the notebook. You need to have that on your documentation website. Pretty much that's it. So just be prepared some of the procedures, but I already told you the questions. So anything else? And again, it's open book. I'm hoping that after this course, you should be able to build things by yourself. You already know the framework, you already know all kinds of tools. So just to recap what we cover this semester, right? We cover all kinds of practical tools that you can use for software development. We cover Visual Studio Code, Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab. What else? What else did we cover in this course? What other things that have you learned besides the things that I mentioned? GitHub version control, right? Publishing the packages to PyPI, Conda. We also cover, for example, Conda, right? And the Conda, Mini Conda, some of the Conda tools, Mamba, pip install, GitHub, pull request, right? Those pretty much are the majority of the tools that you need to be familiar with if you really want to do some coding, and also learn how to get things to your, how to install packages, right? How to create a Conda environment, how to publish open source packages, how to do version control, and some of the IDE, right? Or how to develop interactive web app, right? How to develop things based on your package that you built, and how to deploy. Okay, so that's pretty much some of the things we have covered in this course, and today I'm going to show you a little bit more. There's not that assignment for this, but you're welcome to use some of the ideas for your final project. I'm just going to show you some of the additional things if I'm to build something from scratch, or if I want to build another packages, right? So now you can build a packages empty shell within 5 minutes. You can publish a web app within 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes in total, you have something working functional. But if you want to have more like advanced stuff, you need to spend some time to develop that. And let's see. I think the first one I will show you is the package that I just created maybe last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. Actually quite popular. So I'm going to show you like what kind of things you can do in combination of maps and geospatial data. If you go to the website called samgeo.gshub.org, I'm not sure if I put that one on the course website or not. So if you go to this website, this is a new one that I created two weeks ago. So this one allows you to basically segment any satellite imagery within a couple lines code. So you can do that for anywhere around the globe, any satellite imagery, all free, open source, right? So you can go to the GitHub. Right, how was this built? Right now, can you build this website if you see the website like this? Yes? I'm very familiar. It's just mkdocs, just markdown and then menus, right? So it's using the same template that we created. And if you go to GitHub, I'm still working on that, adding more features, but at least you can try it out. And you see, right now 741 stars in less than 2 weeks. So that means a lot of people actually are interested in those. And you should get, for your package that you're going to develop, you should aim for something that if people are interested in, they will start your repo, they will fork your repo, and they will contribute back to your repo. So this is something if you really want to build something that can be used by other people, not just by yourself. And so let me show you a quick overview, maybe a preview of what this looks like, right? So you can have a satellite imagery, and you can do a segmentation like this without any training excuse me, without any training data. Just give an image, I give you a segmentation. Nothing else. So just a couple lines of code. This one is not published yet, but you can try out this one. So if you can follow me, go to the examples and then satellite. So this, right now, this is what we have covered in this class, right? Build the notebooks, and then have all the pages here. People can try it out. You can have text, you can have code, you can have images, you can also have GIF animation, whatever information that you want to share on here. So now if you click the open in Colab icon, and this will take you to Google Colab, and this is where you can try things out and see how it is functioning. Okay, so first you need to install the packages. So Control/, So the package is named Segment Geospatial. Basically segment geospatial data, and you can also use Leafmap and local type server to visualize the data. Just click. I need to sign in. Okay, uncommon. And this is under the hood is using the model released by Facebook or Meta. Now it's called Meta. So it's using AI, deep learning. It's so-called like foundation model. And you don't, in that way, you don't really need to do any training. You just use the model that they develop. It can segment. It's not trained, the model is not trained on satellite data, but it can do pretty well. And you will see the results shortly, how you can use it to do some geospatial stuff. Oh, by the way, so for all the deep learning stuff, you most likely you need to have a GPU. So if you're using Google Colab, you need to go to runtime, change the runtime type. So make sure you change this one to GPU. Click save. By default, it's none. That means it's no GPU. So deep learning, if without a GPU, it can be pretty slow. So make sure that you use the GPU. Do the installation, and then can import. And after that, you can create a map. So if you look at this one right now, right? You should be very familiar with this right now. So see here, you can create a map, center, zoom level, and then add the base map, right? Your package already have this functionality, the basic one. And so from here, you can just pan and zoom the map to anywhere, and just draw a rectangle as your area, and then you should be able to download the imagery as a GeoTIFF. You can load the GeoTIFF to any other GIS software if you know. So basically, you can grab all the map tiles from the internet and then mosaic them all together as a bigger GeoTIFF. So here, for example, I can simply click the drawing tool like this. Okay. Again, you can do it anywhere. The result might not always be perfect, but at least you get some initial. And then run this one. So the next step is actually to download the images. So if you see this one, there's a function TMS to GeoTIFF, and then where you want to save the output, the bounding box, the zoom level. So the larger the zoom level, the more details, so the longer time it's going to take. So this one, if you see here, it has 28 tiles. So basically like one tile, and then download them all together. Most of them as a GeoTIFF. If you click on the left side here, you should see this one, satellite.tiff. So this is the file that we downloaded, and this is the one we use to do segmentation. So here, we can add the image back to the map, right? Just like what we cover in class. Remember? So you should be able to actually do that. If I click this one and check the base map, is this one? Or it's a little bit shift. It might be because of the coordinate, the tile, the coordinates. But so you can also clear this one, right? So take a look at this. Now we have a GeoTIFF. Then we download it from the Google base map. Then we can use this one for segmentation. So next step is that you need to download the model. So we're going to initialize and download the model. So it's 2.56 gigabyte. It's pretty big. So the model basically, like it's called foundation model. It can do anything. If you're running on Google Colab, the speed should be pretty fast. So it only takes less than 10 seconds, 243 megabytes per second. So it's really, really fast. And once you have downloaded, it's going to create a model. And this is where you actually do the segmentation. So you can see it's actually pretty simple, just one line of code. Just say where do you want to save the segmentation output, and you can just do the segmentation. So it might take some time. When it's doing the segmentation, it's actually subdivide the images into smaller pieces and then do the segmentation. And after that, it's going to merge that back into a GeoTIFF. And this might take a minute or two. But as you can see from here, right, if you're doing traditional remote sensing, you need to select the training sample, you need to do supervised clarification, unsupervised. This one is only one line of code, right, without any training. I don't need to tell the computer. You're going to segment. I'm going to add more features to allow you to select points. You can click on the map and then select, for example, I want buildings, and just click couple buildings, and then you segment the build image to give you the buildings, or give you the lakes, give you the vegetation. It's going to group basically based on the image texture and also the patterns using deep learning. It does pretty well. It's much easier, although the result is not always perfect. But at least give you some idea, right? After I do the segmentation, I can also convert the convert the image to vector data. So you can, in that way, you can do some calculation. You can calculate the area. You can overlay on top of the imagery. So it's up to you what you want to do. But this is very interesting stuff that is going to generate a lot of applications. So going forward in the future, we're going to have less and less human intervention. Most of the things will be driven by AI, and you need to know basically how to use the AI to make your life easier, right? So once I have the segmentation, we can convert that one to vector data very quick, right? And after that, you can also convert to swap file, so geo package or any vector data supported by GeoPandas. And so lastly, let's visualize the data, see what it looks like. So we segment the image into a binary, and now you see from here, it's not perfect. There are a lot of things you can customize. Right now it's excluding the background, so it doesn't include the larger area in the background. So it's extracting the building, the roads, also some trees are in there. Again, this is just a simple segmentation. We don't have any fine-tuning parameters. There will be things allow you to fine-tune. So for example, you can have something like this. You can segment the entire image, and the speed will be much faster in the next version. Right now it's only 1 minute 2. So in the future, like this, it's only maybe 10 seconds. So you can get the result pretty quickly, right? So if you hover your mouse, you will see all the buildings, right? It's being extracted, the parking lot and other stuff. And let me see if I can turn it here. Of course, you can use the traditional remote sensing, for example, machine learning, decision tree, random forest, and other traditional machine learning algorithm to do the classification. But this is more like using deep learning and object-based doing the segmentation. Anyway, you can try it out for anywhere. Just draw a rectangle, zoom and pan and zoom the map to anywhere you like. Then just run the notebook and use a bit to get the result. Of course, don't try to apply to a huge area with very high resolution, because it's using the Google Colab free resources. The GPU might not be that big, so sometimes it might exceed the memory available. And you're welcome to look at the source code. Again, everything is pretty much using the same template. Right now, I only have 2 modules in here, a couple hundred lines of code, and functions. So everything is the same thing that we have covered in this class. So just to give you some potential applications, like if you want to do geospatial stuff, what kind of functionality can you have? Eventually, it's going to deal with data and then doing some mapping, getting some result, visualization, that kind of stuff. Questions? So next, we're gonna get into Streamlit a little bit more. So how do we build an app from scratch? So in Lab 10, I already show you how to clone the repo, and how to deploy to your web app. You need to do a little bit customization. For example, to have an input box that allow user to enter, for example, a base map URL, and they can show the map. But today I'm going to show you from scratch. So if you already have your package, how to actually integrate your package into Streamlit so that Streamlit can use your package. And I'm going to use Leafmap as the example. So I'm going to show you step by step how do you design the layout of the app, and how to add those components, and how do you display the data on the map. But the map is also interactive on Streamlit. Okay, so let me create a new repo here. I'm not going to deploy the, of course I can, but let me see if I can link to the GitHub. Last week, yeah, maybe this one. So I'm going to continue to use the one that I built last time. So later, if I can deploy to GitHub, so you can automatically link to Streamlit cloud. So here, also you can do everything directly within Visual Studio Code. So you don't have to use the terminal or Anaconda prompt, because here it's integrated. But you need to activate the Conda environment so that you can use the Conda environment to run Streamlit. So this is the empty, not empty, right? I have a couple examples in there last time. So I'm going to Conda activate GOS. And then here you can run this one, Streamlit, run. And then so I'm going to run the home. Hit enter. It should open your app in the browser. And so next we're going to create a brand new one so that you can see how you can actually use some of the map applications in your web app. Because if you build on top of iPy Leaflet or Folium, there are a lot of map components in there. This one is a little bit slow. Let me check out this one here. Okay, it's done. So for example, in my home page, I don't want to show this one. Later I can take this one to other. So here, this is basically the template. You can have multi-page app. So what you do basically create a folder named pages, and then within your pages you can have multiple scripts, just like what we covered last time. On your homepage, you can have, so usually for your homepage, you want to have something basic. Don't like have computation intensive stuff, because if you saw earlier, right, it's running, it takes a while, it's not good. So you want to have something loaded very quickly on your homepage. So for this one, I will just maybe comment out all my stuff in here. And then I can just use SD title, for example. What is this? Streamlit. Hello. What? Right. Control S. Come back to the web app. Always rerun. Right. So in this way, it's really fast. So the home page right now is nothing in there. I can have more stuff. For example, I can have SD image. Right. I can. Does this one work? I'm not sure where is this image, but let's try see what is. Oh, this is the one that we used last time. Cool. All right. So for now, for my homepage, I just want like this. And next, I'm going to show you how I can create another item that we build things from scratch. So for example, if your package already have some functionality for exporting the map, exporting the map to HTML, then you can do that. So Leafmap already has that. I'm not going to show you step by step how you can build it. So come back to here. Also, you can design the web app to be to have a layout, right? You can have multiple columns. So in Streamlit right now, if you don't do that, you'll be just everything just a single column, but you can have multiple columns. So here, let me show you, I think, template. So let me just show you this one, right? This is what we discussed last time. So if you click this here, usually by default it's just one column, but if you see on this app here, it's two columns. So in Streamlit, you have one column. You can organize things by column. It doesn't really have flexibility for having like by row, because you can do that, but think about here, if it is by row, you have a map in the full width, you need to have all the buttons at the bottom, so it doesn't look really good. Let me show you what it looks like. Come here. So let me create a new one. Maybe one, and how do I call this one? Demo.py. Control S. Come back to here. Where's my web app? Okay, refresh. Okay, on the left side here, demo right now, there's nothing in there, so it's empty. And this is where we get started. How do we start from scratch, and then you can put some maps in here. So usually the first step you need to do is import Streamlit as st, and then from here you can also, for example, I can import Leafmap dot volume map as Leafmap. Oops. Leafmap. So once you import it, we can create a map. But again, Streamlit is unlike Jupyter Notebook. There you can just type the variable m and then it display the map. It doesn't work that way. So Streamlit can take your map HTML, it can display HTML, but not the map objects. So we can do the same thing like in here. Leafmap equal to map, and then oh, it's pretty intelligent. M.doc to Streamlit. So basically in Leafmap, I already implemented the function that allows you to convert the map to Streamlit, basically convert to HTML. So let's Control S and then come back to here, see what it looks like. Oops. You see? So take a look at this one. Very simple. So you can do whatever you want with the map, and then the last step just M to Streamlit. It will convert that one to a Streamlit component. So here I can add another base map, for example, M dot, oh, so intelligent. So M dot add base map, and then come back to here. See? But right now, this is only a single column. It's not taking the full width. You can specify to make it full width so that it can take the whole space. So let me add another line here. You'll be st dot set page config, and then the layout equal to white. Layout equal to white means I'm going to take the full page as your width. Control S, and then come into here. Is it better now? So just a couple lines code, then now I have a map that's actually interactive. So I can turn layer on and off in here. So the map component, you can display data, you can do all kind of stuff. And once you have this, for example, I can specify, you can set a zoom level, you can set a center location if you want to. So next, let me show you how we can actually This is kind of for your lab assignment, lab 10. So I'll give you some idea how you can actually implement that. So for lab 10, I'm asking you, right? You can have a base map, have a drop-down list, allow you to select from the drop-down list. But I can also have an input box that allow user to enter URL, and then I can also display that. So next, let's try to think about here. I can have an input box, select box. Right now, it looks like it's a full layout. So by default, Streamlit, the layout is by row. So whatever component you add to the layout is going to by row. So if I'm going to add another one, it's going to come at the bottom. So here, let me show you, right? I can say, hold on, drop down equal to select box, right? And so this one you're going to have the options, right? Label options. So the label will be select, for example, select, or maybe just base map. Okay, and then the options. Oh, that's cool, right? So see here, I have I'll select all options and then just like this. Oops. And so keep that in mind here. You're going to run into this issue if you're trying to develop interactive web app. So Control S. So we basically create a drop-down list. In Streamlit, it's called select box. In IPyWidget, it's called IPyWidget drop down, right? It's different. So, but basically, what is being returned is into a value. Also, this is different from IPyWidget. IPyWidget, you need to have widget dot value in order to get the value, right? This one you don't have to. So it's directly getting the value. And once you have this, you can add the base map. Let's see if it works. Okay, come to here. Refresh. Oops. Let me see here. Why is not showing up? So let me move it up a little bit. Control H. Read one. Interesting. Oh, not sidebar. Sorry. I think it's adding here. Actually, coming to here because I added to the sidebar. Right now it doesn't work yet. So I think what we need to do is to remove this one here, the sidebar. Okay, you don't want the sidebar. So st.select box. If you have a sidebar, it's going to put on the left side. Sometimes you might want to, but usually you want to have something like this, right? Okay. So look at this. Does it look better now? Right? I can select. You also notice every time when I select something, the map refresh. This is not ideal, but this is the limitation. So when you are changing something, basically you run the script from the beginning to the end. So you recreate the map. That's why the map is refreshed. And let me see here. So look at this one, right? We set the page layout to white. We have a select box, and then we have the map. Right now, it's basically adding a base map. But this one actually has no functionality. You will see here after the map is converted to Streamlit, it becomes HTML. There's no way back. So anything you want to do with the map, you need to do it before you display it. Once it's displayed, it's the done deal. So this is using volume. It's not using IPyWidget, IPyLeaflet. IPyLeaflet, after display the map, you can add layer, you can remove layer. Volume doesn't do that. So what we need to do actually is to move this one up. And then you want to remove this one. So think about the logic here, right? We have the map, we have a drop-down list, and then we create a map. So whatever drop-down list that you select, I'm going to add that one from the map. And then I display that on the web page. Make sense? So Control S, come back to here. And let's see, hybrid, road map, terrain, satellite. See, pretty simple, right? Only 4 lines of code. So if you don't do this one, you just like map like this, it's not going to work. So if I Control S, come back to here, it should be pretty much. You see, it's an HTML. It's trying to render the HTML. So in order to do that, you need to have your function. So next, let me show you like how do you adapt this one for a package. So assume, right, you import your whatever your package name, doc volume, your module, right? You have a volume module in there. So then you create a map, and then you do something at base map. So the last step here, doc to Streamlit. So you need to add another function in your package called under your map class, like df parentheses save comma df to Streamlit, whatever function name you want to use, and then you need to convert that one to HTML so that Streamlit can use that. So next, let me quickly show you what the function look like, and let me do it here. If you go to Leafmap, so you can simply just copy the function from Leafmap and then paste it into your map class. Then you can use your own package rather than using Leafmap. So what you need to do is go to the API reference and then volume. Scroll down to find this function to Streamlit. Alright, and then here is just look at the source code. So this is basically what this function is doing, is to convert your map object into HTML and then convert it to a way that's accepted by Streamlit. If you look at this one, pretty simple here. Right, you can have a width and height, and you can also do the scrolling. Whether or not you're going to add the by default add the layout control. So what this one is doing here is to convert the map to HTML and then grab this one using the component. So Streamlit has a components function, and the component can display pretty much any HTML, and then it's going to return the component and then display the map. Again, this is what you want for your package. If you want to integrate your package, if you want to use your package for Streamlit, you need to have a function like this to convert your map. Once you are ready with manipulating the map, you want to display that. So you want to have this function, something like this. So then you can, everything here pretty much, the source code will remain the same. So whatever the package name of your package is, whatever, and then your package name, create a map, add a base map, and then doing something like this, Control S. Then you should have this one, you should have your map up and running. And so next, let's think about it a little bit, right? So here we have the map, but this doesn't really do good because you have a, right now it's by row, right? I can add all the components going by row, but sometimes it's better to by column rather than by row. Make sense? So how to actually redesign this one into by column so that you can have a sidebar on the right and then the map on the left, or whatever you want to do, right? So the Streamlit is also very flexible. So let me show you here. And earlier we created a drop-down list and we display the map based on the selection of the drop-down list. So next, if you want to design your web app by column, you can create column. So Streamlit, you can do whatever by column or by row. By default is by row. So here, they say we want to have this one with 2 columns. The first column on the left is for displaying the map. The second column on the right is for displaying all the options. So we can do, for example, column 1, comma, column 2, col1, col2 equal to ast.columns. So look at this one, columns 1 and then columns 2. You can directly pass in a number like 2 columns. By default, it's going to be evenly distributed. We can change it later. So for now, let's think about here. We have column 1 and column 2. So column 1, we're going to display the map. Column 2, we're going to display the drop-down list. Make sense? So what you need to do is to put everything, rather than like this, you need to put the things within the column you want, right? So for the drop-down list, I'm going to display in column 2. So what you need to do will be with column 2, colon, and then you need to indent this one. Make sense? So you're going to display on the column 2. For the map, you'll be with column 1, and then like this. Again, sometimes this one should be the last step. Okay, don't convert your map to Streamlit until you finish adding all the stuff. Otherwise, it will just the empty map. Okay, so think about here. We create the 2 columns, and we just tell the program that for column 2, I'm going to display the drop-down list. You don't necessarily have to use the column 1 first, right? You can display stuff on your column 2, and then at the end you want to move it to the left. So here, I'm going to put Control S, come back to here, refresh. See that? Probably it's too wide, so right? The drop-down list is just too much, but it should work the same way, right? If I change it. So next, let me quickly show you here. For the columns, you can actually provide a list, and depends on how many columns you have, you can space it by number. So the number basically will be the percentage, roughly the percentage of the total width. So here, we can do it something like this. If you do 1-1, it's going to be even, right? 50%, 50%. I can do maybe 4 and 1. 4 and 1, what does this mean? So basically means that in total, the width is let's 5. 4 divided by 5 is 80%, right? 1 will be 20%. So in that way, we're going to have the map with 40%, 80% of the layout, and the drop down is 20%. So Control S, come back. See, it's updated instantly. So this is actually pretty simple and straightforward. You are welcome to add more components. So for example, this will be something similar for your lab 9. You already finished maybe 80%, right? How many lines of code? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you have good memory. So only 10 lines of code. Pretty much you're done with the assignment, right? But for lab 10, I'm asking on this one. You also want to create an input box that allow user to enter URL. So if the user enter URL, I can also add the URL. Do you want me to do the lab assignment for you here on the fly? Right? Okay. It's a bonus. Okay, I'm going to show you. Since the last lab, I think you can spend more time on your final project. So I'm going to show you how you can add a URL. Right? I can paste any URL, and then you should be able to display the URL on the map. So here, let me come back to here. So think about it. Where do you want to add the input box? Allow user to enter something? On column 1 or column 2? Column 2, right? You can put it at the bottom here. So what we need to do, you need to put somewhere beneath the column 2 here. So everything, you need to width that column, otherwise it's going to go to the bottom of the map. It's going to go to those 2 columns. So let me show you here. For example, if I don't indent, and let's say the user enter, what's the value we're going to use? Maybe URL, for example, equal to st dot, I think it's called input box or something, or text input. Okay, and enter URL. So I'm going to give some information for the user. So let me Control S. And so right now, think about here, where this one is actually going. If the code looks like this, so where's the text input box? Will be located on the map. So come here, refresh. You see? Do you see that at the bottom here? Right. So that's the problem. If you don't put it within a column, by default it's going to go by row. So it's going to finish all your column, display your stuff first, and then it's going to the colon. So this is not good. So what you need to do is to put this one in here, tab, Control S, and refresh. See? Perfect. And next, what should we be doing? Right? Functionality, right? So you just link the functionality. Now you have the input box. The user can paste the URL, and then once they hit enter, it's going to add the base map into that. So here, for your function, for your package, do you have a function that add something at the URL, right? Add tile layer, and then just paste the URL, right? You can do that, right? So you can do the same thing in here. What we need to do is like this one. So you have the URL, and right now by default is adding just adding a base map, but I can add another one here. So let me show you what this is doing. So you see it's pretty intelligent. If URL means if the URL is not empty, I'm going to do something. So if URL, oh, perfect, m.add tile layer, right? So this is the Leafmap function. You should have a similar function for your package. So by default, it's just going to URL. You can have attribution, name. So you probably need to maybe have a name here. Name equal to maybe tile layer, whatever you want you to use. And then I can have another one, attribution. So for volume, you need to have attribution. You can just have an empty one. It doesn't matter. Okay. So take a look at this one, right? Should be pretty simple. Okay. How many lines of code? How many more lines of code we added? 3 or 4, right? It's only 13 or 14, right? So let's find out. Come to here, and then refresh. So now you see we have this one. If I select, it's going to select. If I enter something, so of course you need to find the URL. You can go to maybe whatever URL you want to use. So for example, I'm going to go to Leafmap and then come here. I'm going to find some base map URL, right? Just like we cover in class, right? So these are some of the basic ones. So for example, I want to add the Google hybrid base map. Assume that the user have a URL, okay? So on the control, come back to here. Right now is the raw map, right? I enter the URL, hit enter. Oops, what happened? Custom types must have an attribution. That means it's missing something. So attribution. Yeah, I think I already added. Let me double check here. Attribution. See if it works. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. Perfect. You see that? I can still change it. I can add the terrain, but the tile layer is always there, right? If I remove it, hit enter, it's to clear it. Right, but I can still change it here, change it in here. Again, you're welcome to go online to find some of those. There are a lot more base map available. So one thing you can do is to see. Let me see where it is. Base map. Let me find another. These are XYZ. This won't work, I think. STAMEN Thai URL. See if they can find anything freely available. Access by HTTP URL. Anyway, so let me maybe show you how you can for example, for this one here, right? I have just right now, I only have 4 options, but I can actually add a lot of options. So it's going to coming from Leafmap. So let me show you like what kind of option can you have. So I can grab all the base map available through Leafmap. What I can do, options equal to, I think it's Leafmap dot base map dot keys, and then convert this one to a list. So what this one is doing is to grab all the base map, the names of the base map from Leafmap, and then so I can just simply replay this one, right? Rather than with just one, with only 4, I can use all the base map available. So options, Control S, come back to here, refresh. Now you should have a lot more. So 1, 2, 3, surprise. You see? So now I have all the base maps. I can use pretty much any base map I like. So there are, I think, over 400 base map in here. Right now, you see the column, the width is a little bit narrow. I can change it. So maybe, how about this? 4 to 1. Maybe I would like to 70%. Right now it's 80%, 20%. I can do maybe 7-3. So in that way, it's 70%, 30%. So it's a little bit wider for the for this one. So refresh. See, it's a little bit better. And like this, CartoDB, right? Or maybe Esri. Alright, so now only a couple lines code. I'll just change it slightly. Now I have a map that has this functionality, allow user to do something. I can also allow user to upload stuff. So you're welcome to look into the Leafmap, the Streamlit tutorial. There are tons of components. So you can have maps, you can have date, you can have input box, you can drop down list, you can have chat box, you can have all kind of stuff. Also here, I can also I can have something, for example, when I select the map, it can also display the URL in here. Can we do that? If you want to, but so for example, right now for this one, I can also let me show you here. So for the Leafmap.tileLayer, so from the drop-down list, once the user select the drop-down list, I can actually grab the URL from the tile layer if I want to. So here, I would say maybe default URL equal to UB Leafmap.basemaps, and then the drop-down list dot, I'm not sure it's URL or tile. Probably it's called tiles. Okay, so what this one is doing is so basically we're grabbing the tile layer object, and so for Folium is actually called tiles. For IPyDB it's called URL, so it's a little bit different. In this case, because you're using Folium, so we're going to grab the URL, and then we can pass the URL to the text input. So let me show you here. The value equal to the default URL. So what this one is doing is basically when I select from the drop-down list, I'm going to get the URL, I'm going to fill the input box with default URL. So Control S, come back to here. I'm not sure if it works or not, but let's find it out. Perfect. You see? Right? So grab the URL. If I change it, you see? So in that way, now if I if I scroll down to find any, how about this one, statement terrain, right? So you see the URL here. So earlier we're trying to find some URL online. I sometimes difficult to find, but now I can get all the URL. I can copy this one if I want, right? So assume, right? Now I switch to the open base map, and the user might have their own URL. So I can delete this one, Control V, hit enter. See? Pretty simple, right? You can add a lot more options. Right now it's only like 2 options just to change the base map. So this is essentially for lab 10. Okay. Can you do lab 10 now? It's finished, right? 10, 20 like less than 15 lines of code, it's done. And then just deploy to GitHub. So let me show you here. I already have this one. So let me see if they make any changes. And so how about this? Add base map app, for example, and then change this. Then I can come to my repo. And this should be automatically deployed on Streamlit. So let me see here, share Streamlit. So for your Streamlit web app, I can show you. I forgot if I showed you last time. You can custom the URL so that the URL is not too long. Did we do that last time? So you'll be demo. Let me see here. Oops, what happened? I think I delete a file. Anyway, so let me tweak this one more time. I'm going to use the this URL, and so new app, paste GitHub URL, and then advanced settings. I usually don't need to do anything. So by default here, you're gonna see this URL blah 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 demo and then a random string. So it's pretty long. You can customize it. So if you want, you can go to your settings. Oh, it's not finished yet, so it's still running. But oh, by the way, you need to have a requirement.txt. Otherwise, your package is not listed, so it's not going to work. You need to make sure that you have that. Otherwise, you will fail later. So what you need to do is, if you create a brand new one, you need to make sure that you have a requirement.txt. So I'm going to new file, require.txt, and then within there, this whatever package that you need. So for your own package, or for me, I think I only use Leafmap, so that's it. Okay, and then from here, add dependencies. Okay, control sync changes. Then hopefully it will work. Oh, it's already done. Yeah, right now you see here, Leafmap is not available because I didn't add the dependency. So after I push the changes to GitHub, it's rebuilding. So after that, it should just work, right? So here you should have a basic app that with some basic geospatial mapping functionalities. And it's pretty simple. So it's not like you have to. In this way, user can just go to the URL. Again, let me settings, and I think you should be able to. Let me redo it here. And demo. Yeah, this one. So upper right corner here, settings. So if you go to streamlit.io and then go to your app and then the three dots settings, this is where you customize the URL. So by default, it's pretty long. If you want, I can have a stream. You can change it. So I can maybe, what's the name? Geo demo. Not sure if it's available. Okay, it's not available. Geo who demo. What? Demo 1, 2, 3, 4. Huh. Interesting. I don't think it's being taken. Sometimes they have some keywords there that doesn't allow you. I'm gonna put my name. I don't think this will be taken. Whoops. What? I think the demo, the word is pretty banned in their database. So I can who geo. No, okay. This is not taken. So I'm gonna use this one. Okay, so it's done. Now if I open it, you see geo.streamlit.app and it's up and running. So cool, right? Checking and up and running. Select base map. Oh yeah, this one is only for the add type layer is only for XYZ. This is a WMS, so it's a bit different. If you want, you can fix it, but I'm not going to do that. So let's change this. Most of them should work. Only a couple of those like base map not working, but how about this? Right. And the user can also paste the URL to do that if they want to. So again, let me show you one more time. Just make sure that everything is functioning. Oops. And how about maybe the open topo map? Open topo map here, right? And you can grab the URL. Assume that this is the URL that the user provided. You can change it to any other base map that you like, right? So user only need to come here, remove it, Control V, hit enter, then it should work. And you can full screen if you want to. Also on the left side, you can add more stuff. So for example, I can add my contact information if you want to. But you will need to do that for pretty much every app. So right now, for example here, this is the home page, right? On the left side, it has nothing in there. So I can add my contact information. So go to the home.py, and then within there, you need to have things on your sidebar, right? So I can do ht.sidebar. You can use Markdown, you can use pretty much anything. So I can just do what is that? Info. And oops. So here I can maybe contact, okay. And okay. st.sidebar. Maybe Markdown. You can do Markdown if you want to, okay. You see, it have a link in. I'm not sure who is this guy, but Control S, and then come back to here. You need to use a local app. So look at this one, refresh. You need to go to your, I think your home. Right now it's under the home home page. See, my name. And you can click my link in. Who is this link in that is provided? Anyway, it doesn't work. But you can put out your contact information there. But it's only on the first home page. If you want to do that, you need to do it for multiple pages. So you need to copy and paste. So how about this? Maybe come into here, just copy these two lines and repeat it for every app. So here I'm going to go to, after you set the pages, you can do it like this. Okay, Control S, and so now if I come to my home page, it should be there. But if you click on your demo, it should also be there, right? See that? But for other pages, I haven't added, so it's not there yet. And this one is not working. So contact, and maybe how about this Twitter? I'll remember the Twitter. Okay, maybe here. Where is that? HTTPS. Yeah, I don't know what is. Okay, and then I can just upload it to GitHub. It should work just fine. So copy this one, come to my home page. And I will just say add sidebar, Control Enter, sync changes. So it should be, this is pretty instant. So now we are seeing this web app here. It should be already pulling the request, and refresh it. You see, it's on the left side. So now I have the contact. I can all your information in here. If you click the next one, it's also going to show up. So this is how you can add sidebar. You can add all kind of contact information. Again, go to the Streamlit.io, the website, and look at examples. You can click the documentation. Then here under the API reference, so look at all kind of components available. You can use htdoc-write, text components, markdown, header, caption, code block, text, latex. You see, so it's so many stuff, right? You can create chart, all kind of beautiful stuff, and it's also interactive. It's not just like static. It's very cool. You can have maps, you can graph, you can have input widget. It's very rich. So you can have images, you can have audio, you can have video. You can also change the layout. So take a look at those components and see if there's anything that you're interested. You can even like cap your camera. So you can have a button there allow user to click and then take their photos from the camera. For doing some kind of machine learning, deep learning stuff for training, time input, also file upload, right? So if you want to allow the user to upload something, you can do that. So you can click this one and see here. You can have a button that allows the user to upload a file. So all you need is simply copy. So example here, right? Say you want to develop an app that allows you to upload a CSV and then contains the latitude and longitude, and then you want to display it on the map. You can do it something like this, pretty simple. So maybe let me try it here. I'm going to copy this one, come back to here, go to my app, and under my demo, right? So here I have drop down list URL. I can paste another one here. Control V, and see here, upload HT file uploader to the CSV, accept multiple files, something like that. Maybe let me turn it to be just one, maybe Control S, and then refresh, come back to the web app. Where is it? Here. Okay, refresh and go to my demos app. Take a look at on the right. Do you see this button? So now your app actually allows users to upload a CSV and then can display the stuff on the CSV. I'm not sure if I have any CSV on my computer here. Let me see the OS demo, docs, examples, data. Yeah, I don't have any CSV here, but let me quickly grab one from the internet. So leafmap.org and examples. Data. I should have some CSV here. How about this? US cities.csv, right? Exactly like the example here. I have two columns and latitude and longitude. So I'm going to download this one, put it into my computer, and then can try it out, see if it works, right? US.csv, and then come here, select the CSV file, download, click, open. See, It's going to just print out. It's not good, but you can do it as a data frame, so you can actually display your data on the map. So I'm gonna use the last 2 minutes. Maybe just here. I don't think we have time, but you can you can read the CSV. It's a Panda data frame, and then you can display the Panda data frame on your web app. So here you'll be like this. Let me quickly show you. Under this, I think it's called data frame. Control F, data frame, right? Something like this. So here I have an example. You can have a random data frame. So I'm gonna copy this and numpy. Come back to here. Paste. So what you need to do is to do something like this. Control S. So I'm gonna display the numpy array, the pandas data frame at the bottom here, right? So just create a random data frame with couple columns and then display that. So Control S. And where is it? Reverse. Refresh that. OS1. And look at this at the bottom. See that? So this is the data frame. I can click the upper right corner here. I can zoom it out. So in this way, basically you allow the user to load the stuff on your web app. I can do something similar if I want to. So here, for example, I have the file under my computer. I can do the same thing, right? I can read this CSV file. Anyway, you need to get the download basically pointing to the file path, but you need to make sure the file is available on your server. Otherwise, it's not going to show up. But these are the basic things you can do, right? You can display all kind of text, video, images, media components. You can allow the user to enter something. Then you can have your map more interactive, more rich component. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more ideas that you can use for your web app or for your final project, whatever you want. But this is the way that you can make your things accessible. So if you develop something, you want other people to use your stuff, most of them don't have the programming background, but you can do the coding and then just share the link to them. They can just open the link. They will be able to actually use your cool stuff. Okay, so that's all for today. And this is the last lecture. Again, we don't meet next week. So when work on your final project and then upload the video. And so hopefully you will be able to also watch the video from your classmates, see how other people are doing. And I hope this course, at least you learn something new from this class. I know it could be very challenging, frustrating to debug the code, but this is what you need to do if you want to do something like programming, do the coding. It's very common. So if you have any questions, have anything you want to discuss with me, stop by my office or email me. I'm happy to meet with you, and I will see you next Thursday for the final exam. Okay. See you. Take care.